The Food Unwrapped team are on a quest.
Allah!
Travelling the world to reveal the truth about the food we eat.
Wow, look at this!
Alfonso!
In tonight's programme, I get stuck in as I unearth the secret to what makes mushrooms grow.
The mushrooms that you get out of the supermarket, they arrive in a bag of grain and you literally plant that grain to grow mushrooms.
And discover that it's this magic recipe that produces mountains of them every year.
Look at this. So many mushrooms, Alan. It's like fairyland.
Intrepid traveller and top taster Kate Quilton heads to Italy to find out what's in a stick of licorice.
Black molten lava. It is so strong. It's just made my mouth water.
Yes,
and
yeah.
my eyes water.
And human guinea pig Matt Tebbutt uncovers the nasty bacteria that could be lurking in your beansprouts.
Beansprouts are as potentially dangerous as oysters.
Potentially.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
First up, mushrooms. They can be closed cup or open cup, bite-sized buttons, chestnut or oyster. But we want to know the magic behind making mushrooms grow.
I know it sounds a silly question, but how do you grow your mushrooms?
Do you grow them in the soil, like carrots and potatoes?
Would assume so, yes.
It's actually grown in a woodland area.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
That makes sense, because you do see the mushrooms growing in the wood.
Yes.
Time to hit the road.
I'm in search of the magic ingredient that helps produce mushrooms.
I've come to Ormskirk in Lancashire to meet a man who's mad about making mushrooms.
How are you? I'm Jim.
Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Nice to meet you. I'm here to find out the secrets of growing mushrooms. Can you help me out?
Absolutely. Bit of high-vis, safety first.
Really? We're talking mushrooms, aren't we?
Well, it's a bit more technical than that, I think, Jim.
Richard Rothwell's company produces 2,000 tonnes of mushrooms a year.
This is a big facility, isn't it? I thought it was just going to be a couple of blokes with some pitchforks.
We're going to start at the beginning of mushroom cultivation, and that appears to happen in this small shed. Where are all the little mushrooms then?
I was expecting sort of like a big pot of things or a little garden. Look at that. Hang on a minute. There's grains. There's like wheat or barley or something.
It's grain, but the main body is grain, but mycelium is grown, which is basically mushroom spawn seeds.
So the mycelium is the mushroom spawn that will later develop into the mushrooms we eat.
The mushroom, yeah.
Mushrooms are fungi, so grow from spores rather than seeds.
So it's grown onto neutralised grain. The grain won't grow.
So the grain is just used as a vehicle. You stick the mycelium on the outside.
So the mycelium basically then grows from here, add it to the compost, and it'll grow through the compost.
The mushrooms that you get out of the supermarket, they arrive in a bag of grain and you literally plant that grain to grow mushrooms.
Apart from wild mushrooms, this is the only way you can do it.
I never knew that.
There you go.
Right, time to get involved. Richard's mushrooms don't grow in any old compost. He makes a speciality blend, and I've offered to lend a hand.
Look at that! That is one big pile of steaming doo-doo, isn't it?
It is.
To grow plenty of mushrooms, you need plenty of manure. And it's hot stuff.
Oh, my word. 49.6 degrees C. So all that heat generation is totally natural. What's happening?
Basically, all the microorganisms are using the oxygen, using all the nitrogen there, feeding off it.
All that activity is generating heat?
Yeah.
Oh, on a cold day, do you ever get inside?
It does warm your hands up, yeah.
Why is that heat important to you?
It helps break down the nutrients inside the straw, which then helps feed the mushrooms, is what the mushrooms feed off, basically.
This horse manure is the base ingredient. Then Richard adds a smattering of recycled poultry material. That's chicken droppings to you and me.
That is quite a pungent smell.
Then a sprinkling of straw, but only after it's been given a rinse.
These bales have actually already been dunked. We have a dunking process in this tank here, where it's dunked into what we've got called goody water, which is...
Goody water?
Goody water. It's good for us anyway.
What is that what you call it, goody water?
Yeah, yeah. It's good for mushrooms. I'll show you some if you want. So you're dunking it in like a biscuit into a cup of tea.
This goody water is simply rainwater that's collected as it runs off the manure.
full of microorganisms that help break down the compost.
Got you.
And it's just basically, hence why it's called goody water, because it's good for the process.
The secret of making good compost, that's poo juice.
Basically, in a glass.
When everything's combined, it's left to mature for a week, then cooked in pasteurisation tunnels to kill off any harmful bacteria.
You've got to get your cooking just right. You've got to get it hot enough to kill off all the nasties, not too hot to kill off all the nutrients.
So although mushrooms are grown in muck, it's sterile, perfectly safe muck.
So once that's done, what happens then?
We then let it cool down, ready to mix the spawn in there.
Later, I'll find out how this special compost and that bag of mycelium spawn grow into masses of mushrooms.
It's like fairyland.
What is licorice? When I see the black stuff, is that just 100% licorice?
Yeah, if it's the black stuff, that's just licorice.
Do you know anything about licorice at all?
Not very much, no.
Do you know where it comes from?
No.
It comes in strings, in rings, and even in sandwiches. But what is licorice? To get the lowdown, Kate's on her way to North Yorkshire.
Now, the thing about licorice is I hate the stuff, and my mum absolutely loves the stuff. I would try to enjoy it, but unfortunately never really got with it.
But the time's come for Kate's taste buds to be put to the test. She's here to meet Harrogate's answer to Willy Wonka.
Wow, look at this!
Hello.
You must be Keith.
And you must be Kate.
Look at all them sweets, eh? You've got all sorts. You've got...
Well, we've got licorice all sorts, yes.
Licorice all sorts. I know those ones. Pontefract cakes.
Well, I mean, Pontefract cakes are nice, soft, easy-to-eat licorice.
The town of Pontefract is actually just down the road and is where the first licorice sweets were made in the UK.
They're always stamped with Pontefract on them. The ladies who did it, they used to, all day, stamp licorice, and they'd stamp, on average, 20 to 25,000 per day they would stamp.
No way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. You've noticed I haven't popped this in just yet, because when I was a kid, what I used to do with these...
Yes, and peel it off, yes.
Yeah, peel off that.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And then that...
Don't mind, I'll eat it later.
Keith's eager to share his liking for licorice.
Now, that is caramel licorice.
And he's got Kate cornered.
That one, I say, is the chilli and licorice.
It's a party in my mouth.
Try the honey and licorice.
That is lovely, that.
But has Keith got carried away?
This is triple salt licorice.
It's like me going for a swim in the sea,
Yes,
just with my mouth open, and just like, let's have some more. With a bit of other stuff in there as well.
Oh, don't go there.
Coming up through my nose now.
Yeah, I knew he'd need the bag.
Kate's not convinced. But licorice is supposed to be good for you. It's been used as a herbal medicine for over 35 centuries.
Whilst we're having this chat, literally the crew are tucking right in. Jack.
What do you think of those then?
So what is licorice?
Licorice obviously all originates from the root of the licorice plant. Then it's added to various products. So different makers put different things in, like the Pontefract cake, which has treacle in it and demerara sugar, and then with a lot of products, anywhere in the region of 4 to 8% of licorice extract added.
Now, is any of this licorice made in the UK?
Well, obviously Pontefract cakes are still made in Pontefract in West Yorkshire, but the actual licorice for them now comes from abroad. And most probably the finest licorice that comes into the country actually comes from Italy.
Well, that is where I'm headed to next.
Later, Kate visits Calabria in southern Italy and gets to the root of how pure licorice is made.
It's amazing. That is magic. Yeah.
Now, I'm used to opening Beansprouts and just snacking on them raw, and I've just noticed on the back of your packet it says, do not eat raw.
Oh,
Is there a reason for that?
let me have a look. Can you eat beansprouts raw?
It's a question on everyone's lips at the moment.
How are they grown underground, are they? I don't know. On trees underground?
On trees? Do you know what the difference is, actually, between bean sprouts and bean shoots? These just say washed and ready to eat.
I don't know. How long have you been eating them raw for?
Ah, years.
And you're still alive.
I'm all right.
I'd carry on as you are.
Yeah.
If you become seriously ill, don't come back to me.
Matt's decided to grow some bean sprouts himself.
in 6 days, I'm going to have my own beautiful sprouts ready to eat.
And see if he can work out why they might need to be cooked before he eats them.
So they're still damp and quite smelly, and I'm just going to leave them on my windowsill. It's going to be nice and warm.
After a few days, his mung bean sprouts have come along nicely.
That's my beautiful bean sprouts straight from the windowsill.
But before he tucks in, he's going to show them to food hygiene expert Holly Jeffries, who checks the safety in restaurant kitchens.
Hello, you Holly?
Yes.
Holly's going to check out Matt's bean sprouts, but first, she wants to test our chef's food safety knowledge.
I want you to put these into the order.
Right.
If you were to eat them in their raw state, that would potentially give you food poisoning. So more likely in high risk, less likely in low risk.
OK, so stick the chicken in high risk. That's massively high risk. Beef, you can eat that raw, but I'm guessing you'll probably tell me I've got to cook it. Bit of coleslaw, that's got to be low risk. Bean sprouts, that's low risk. Oysters, can eat them raw, but they can get ill off them. Yeah, high risk, there you go. I'm going that.
OK, I'm sorry, Matt, to tell you, but you are wrong.
What, really?
Yes. The chicken and the beef will be high.
Good.
Then we have the oysters and the bean sprouts.
Really?
On the high. And
high?
Yes.
Alongside the oysters?
Yeah, potentially they could be just as harmful.
I've gone to the fridge and I've eaten them from a packet, and I've been fine. I mean, what's in them?
Potentially salmonella and E. coli. With these, you can't just wash it. You can't guarantee with bean sprouts that it's not all the way through the sprout.
Bean sprout seeds can contain harmful bacteria. When the seeds are grown in warm, moist conditions, this dangerous bacteria can thrive.
Has anyone ever died from eating a bean sprout?
There was a case in Germany in 2011 where people died from eating them. There's also been a case of some school children that were growing bean sprouts, like you have here, and there were cases there where people were very ill and died.
Really?
Yes. How you've grown yours in a jar with water,
Yeah.
sitting on a nice windowsill,
It was lovely and warm.
and the bacteria have loved it. They probably wouldn't be so good to eat like that.
So they're a bit of a danger food.
Yes, they could be.
So if these raw bean sprouts can be so deadly, why are some raw salad sprouts safe to eat? Matt finds out after the break. Earlier, Matt discovered his favourite oriental vegetable could be harbouring deadly bacteria.
Potentially salmonella and E. coli.
So how can some bean sprouts be labelled as ready to eat? Matt's come to a factory in Northern Ireland to find out.
Hello.
Hello, Matt. You're
Nice to
very
meet you.
Bernie Butler's salads contain buckets of beans, including the type that Matt grew. But before sprouting, these seeds undergo rigorous testing.
We send the sample of the seed to the lab. They test it there for E. coli, salmonella and listeria.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, of course.
And just to be doubly sure, the seeds are given a bacteria-banishing bath.
Why is he wearing a gas mask?
Well, I think it's important when you're handling hypochlorite.
Is that the swimming pool kind of smell I got?
Yes, it is.
So how strong is this chlorine?
It's a very high concentration.
Right. So you wouldn't want to swim in a concentration like this?
No, but...
Unless you're a mung bean.
In fact, the bucket contains a chlorine solution that's 10,000 times more concentrated than the average swimming pool.
Is this just washing the outer shell, would you
That's
say?
absolutely all it's doing. But it is completely washed off the product before it ever gets into the sprouting stage.
Once the water runs clear and there's no trace of chlorine, it's on to the next stage of the production process.
This is really itchy.
So the seed goes through a heat treatment, and thereafter it goes through its entire sprouting process in the bin.
And is that done in a warm environment?
No, it's a cold water environment.
This is the key difference that makes these sprouted beans safe to eat. The bean sprouts we typically use in a stir-fry are grown for 6 days in a warm, dark room, giving the bacteria plenty of time to thrive. After just 2 days in cold water, these baby bean shoots are ready to be eaten.
Now, these are sprouted.
Yes,
Can I try one?
of course you can.
I don't want that many.
They're very good for you.
Yeah? What, by the shovel load? Thank you very much. So, Bernie, in this form, you can eat them raw, but in the bean sprout form, you need to check on the back of the packet or indeed cook them. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's a very different product, grown in a very different way. If there is a cook instruction, I would definitely advise you cook this product, there's a ready-to-eat instruction, and therefore they're safe to eat from the pack.
Earlier, I found out what it takes to make mushrooms.
That's poo juice, basically, in a glass.
Now I'm on my way to see how this bed of muck is turned into a bed of mushrooms.
When you go to a mushroom farm, you think it's going to be some little Italian guy with a little wicker basket walking through the woods, like an airfield.
I've come to meet the main man.
Hi, Alan.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jim.
Jim, very nice to meet you.
Right, so here we go, Alan.
Yeah.
This room is filled with the sterilised compost mixture I saw being made. It's been mixed with the seeds for the mushroom mycelium.
We filled this 5 days ago, and for those 5 days now, we've sort of tried to recreate that warm, moist climate that fungus loves.
The white stuff here, that's the mycelium, that's the fungus.
That's the mycelium. If I just turn over here, you'll see it growing up.
Wow, look at that. So the mycelium's covered in this layer of peat. How would you get them to suddenly turn into mushrooms?
We are going to give it a shock. The mushroom is the fruiting body that ultimately opens and spores. If we didn't shock them, the fungus would just grow and grow, and you would never see a mushroom.
That shock's provided by flicking a switch that controls the temperature, carbon dioxide and humidity levels.
You can trick it into fruiting.
52 weeks of the year.
So in the chamber next door, it's goodbye warm summer and hello autumn.
You've got baby mushrooms everywhere. Look at this little guy. How long has this little guy been in autumn?
That guy has been in autumn for 7 days already. He will probably be another 7 days by the time he gets to the shop.
That's incredible. And they're all growing out of this compost here.
Yes.
Is this little guy okay to eat?
100%.
Even though it's been growing in the compost?
100% safe, sterile, pasteurised.
He's never going to make it to the shops, is he?
You're greedy. You're cruel.
Oh, that's lovely. Really nutty.
The mushrooms in the next chamber along are nearing the end of their growing cycle. Autumn's nearly over and it's time for the woolly jumpers.
Look at this. So many mushrooms, Alan. It's like fairyland.
It is.
In about 4 days' time, this is what those baby buttons will have grown into.
Right, Alan, I've got my little chart. So what sort of size?
You're picking 50 to 55 millimetres.
50 to 55, so that...
Yeah, perfect.
That...
At this size, they're called closed cup mushrooms. When left longer, they'll grow into open cups and portobellas. They're all the exact same variety of white mushroom.
So how many mushrooms would you pick out of here? How many do you have to pick today?
2 tons out of this room today, Jim, and we'll probably have about 7 tons off the farm today entirely.
There's not mushroom in here, is there?
Earlier, Kate met Keith, Yorkshire's connoisseur of all things licorice. Now she's on her way to Italy to find out how it's made. From the airport, there's a 200-mile drive. The Food Unwrapped team make a pit stop. The local aperitif comes as no surprise. It's liquid licorice.
That is
bitter
the
chocolate
best kind of licorice
and blood
I've ever consumed.
But the pudding has a less expected ingredient.
This chocolate layer, chocolate and pig's blood. I thought it was cloves.
The next morning, Kate's arrived in Calabria, deep in southern Italy.
Now, according to Keith, this is where they make the finest licorice in the world. It looks like they've been making it a pretty long time.
In fact, it's been produced here for over 250 years.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Kate.
Hello, I'm Angela. Do you like licorice?
Well, I've kind of learnt to like it, I'd say. So can we see how it's made?
Yes, of course, sure.
Great.
It is a pleasure for me.
The factory's just taking delivery of the key raw ingredient.
The truck with the roots of the licorice has just arrived.
So that is the licorice root?
Yes.
I mean, really, it looks like a bale of sticks.
The plant of the licorice is a wild plant. It grows in many countries like Italy, Greece, Mongolia, but the best licorice in the world grows here.
Local Calabrians enjoy their licorice straight from the fields.
You taste the juice inside?
That is incredible.
Not.
But for some, it's an acquired taste.
Do you like it?
The root contains the sweet-tasting compound anethol, also found in anise and fennel.
Most intense licorice flavour. You get a little strong bitter, and then the sugar follows.
Next, the licorice roots are chopped and shredded before being tightly packed into huge canisters. Then the shredded roots are put into a big pressure cooker for steaming.
What happens to the licorice roots in there?
This works with the same process of the coffee maker. With the passage of the steam through the fibre of the roots, there is the licorice juice.
So it's like a giant percolator.
At this stage of the process, the root is oxidised and the licorice acquires its familiar rich colour.
It's like black molten lava.
Nothing's added to the root juice. It just boils and thickens for 12 hours under the watchful eye of Pascal, the licorice master.
Look at that.
Do you like it?
Oh,
very strong.
It's just made my mouth water.
Yes,
and my eyes water a little bit.
It's very strong.
That licorice liquid's blown the roof off Kate's mouth, but Pascal isn't happy.
This is not the right level of concentration.
You want it to be stronger?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
Once Pascal's given it the thumbs up, the liquid's cooled down into big slabs of licorice.
It's like thick tar, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are wriggled into shape on a moulding machine.
It is like a long snake, but it becomes smaller and smaller.
And we end up with this. The surprising thing is, it's a very simple process, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Now we are going to see the last stage, and it's a magic.
Finally, the licorice is blasted with steam to give it its glossy sheen.
Look at that!
It's a
That is
magic.
magic.
Yeah.
People here maintain that eating licorice leads to youthful good looks.
Here you are, the grandfather.
Giuseppe's the factory's heartthrob, and he certainly had his fair share of licorice.
61.
61. No! And look at your beautiful hair.
Ti piace i capelli? Te li tingi?
61.
Natural hair. 61. Yeah.
He's so cool. He's like the Fonz. You know the Fonz? Happy Days?
Ah, the Fonz.
Happy Days. Is it the licorice? Liquorizia.
Liquorice.